Hello and welcome back to part 2 of our cave diving series, where we're going to talk about logistics, entry locations, mainline locations, and anything you might need to know to dive your first 5 days of unguided cave here in Tulum. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, please click on this right now and go watch that so you'll be up to speed. These dives are meant to be done sequentially, so if you haven't done day 1, don't do day 2 yet. They build on each other naturally. Safety note, all of the dives I'm describing in this entire series are meant for full cave dive certified people only. If you are not full cave certified, please do not attempt these dives. With that being said, welcome back to Scuba with Steve. I'm Steve, and today we're talking about cenote Mayan blue. So why do we pick Mayan blue for our second day of cave diving here in Tulum? Couple of reasons. Firstly, there's a lot of halocline here. A halocline is the barrier between fresh and salt water. And in that halocline, it leads to some pretty cool effects. Number one, a lot of times underneath the halocline, you'll get some pretty blue or white looking cave, which is pretty. Also, inside the halocline, it'll affect temperature, visibility, buoyancy. It's a pretty cool thing if you've never experienced it. Second reason we come to Mayan Blue on day 2 is there's just a bunch of options, which means if you were to do the rest of your trip here at Mayan Blue, you could still dive every single day and not actually repeat that much cave. There's so many options of places to go. Thirdly, we like to come to Mayan Blue because it's a very short walk from the car and you get to see some pretty cave relatively easily. There's no huge walk through the jungle. It's a pretty straightforward walk. And the last reason I like to send people to Mayan Blue early in their cave diving trip here is because it's a practice or a training cave. So what this means is it gives us room to practice those jumps and practice navigation if you're new to doing those things here in the area. Also, because it's a practice cave, the cave line has been cut back, so it allows us, again, the opportunity to lay line just like we did at Cristal yesterday. So how do we find the cenote? To access the cenote, we're going to go to the same place we went yesterday, the entrance of Cenote Cristal. You pay for Mayan Blue at the same place. So you're going to put it on your GPS, drive down the road, you cross to the right, pay at the little place, then double back across the highway, and there will be another gate. You show the guy there that you paid, and then you drive all the way into the actual parking lot. As you're approaching the cenote, you might notice multiple signs that say Cristal and Escondido. Everyone here just calls it Cenote Mayan Blue. There are oftentimes multiple names for multiple cenotes. I know it gets confusing. You're looking for Cenote Escondido, aka Cenote Mayan Blue. As you approach the parking lot, if you look kind of to the back left, you'll see this big white wall. Park somewhere and head over towards that white wall. To the left of the white wall is a path. This path leads to the cenote. You follow this path along for a minute and you'll see the cenote open up on your right hand side with a pretty obvious staircase down there to the right and a wooden platform to put your tanks on. Yes, I am assuming you're side mount diving. If you're twin set diving, then you'll just walk there from the parking lot. It's not that far. Opening hours here are as strict as they were at Cristal, because if you haven't figured it out, it's the same landowners, it's the same people. Opening at 9 a.m. and a hard out of here by 4:30. They will lock you in. Do not let them lock you in. You'll have to pay extra to get out. It's no fun. Hazards of Mayan Blue. Number 1, these caves can get deeper depending on where you go. So just be aware that if you go to somewhere not described right now in these videos, you might want to bring supplemental oxygen. And depending on how you have your gradient factors set, you might even have a little bit of deco on some of these dives. Maybe not the first one, but maybe the second one of the day. Hazard number 2 at Mayan Blue, arrows changing direction. Depending on where you go, exactly what direction you decide to go diving in this cave, you might run across arrows facing away from your entrance. This is a kind of common thing here in Mexico, so this is a good place to practice this. Here we have a lot of other potential exits around, and usually the arrows are pointing towards the closest exit. So just be aware your arrows might not be facing toward your exit depending on where you go. And lastly, there is a jumping off platform here. Well, it's not really a platform like over at Cristal. It's more like there's a little cliff right there. So what I normally do is descend and ascend on the far side of the rope, because people normally don't jump onto the far side of the rope. That'd be a very long jump. So where is B Tunnel itself? Here at Cenote Mayan Blue, we have 3 different entrances. If you were to put your back to the wooden dock and look down the cenote, directly down to your left, like 5 meters from where you are right now, is the entrance to A Tunnel. That's not where we're going today. Directly across the cenote, way down at the other end, you will see a wooden staircase. To the left of this wooden staircase is where B Tunnel is, and kind of below this staircase down the slope and off to the right a little bit, that's where the dead zone is. So those are 3 areas. For today, I'm sending you to the B tunnel, so make sure that you pay attention and don't end up in the wrong place. What we'll do is we'll do our pre-dive checks at one end of the cenote, make sure everything's fine, descend down, swim across the cenote until you see that staircase, and you're going to make a primary tie-off somewhere to the left of the staircase. You could tie off onto the staircase itself, but a lot of the times people who tie off onto the staircase are going to the dead zone, which is straight down. So we kind of leave them some space there. Go down the slope until you reach about 6 meters, find another tie-off, go hard left and stay at 6 meters. You're swimming along the edge of the cenote. You'll see some light from over your shoulder, and then the cave is going to start to open up. This is B tunnel. So what is dive 1 going to look like? Dive 1 is going to be a B tunnel research dive, just main line and looking for all the potential jumps for your next dives here. This line will get you in and out of the halo climb several times, so be aware of that for communication, for buoyancy and the like. And also you're going to pass no less than, depends on how far you go, but you'll pass a few arrows. The first arrow is very soon into the dive, and it is a long jump down and to the left. This is to the Death Arrow Passage. This is where I'm probably going to send you on dive number 2, so take a look at how long that jump is. The second jump is a jump off your right-hand shoulder, up high a little bit. You might not see this on the way in, but on the way out, you'll see it. This is a little connection that gets you back towards the dead zone. You keep swimming for a few minutes, and then you get into the big, white, pretty parts of B tunnel. Then there's going to be a sharp 90-degree left. Off this sharp left, there's a jump that goes to the right. This jump doesn't go a crazy long way, so if you're on open circuit, I would probably leave this jump. The fourth jump you'll run across is a double arrow jump to the right. This is jumping to E tunnel. Very common dive here is to go from B to E and E to F if you bring a stage. Going from B to E just on 2 tanks, definitely a thing you could do if you wanted to on dive number 2. If somehow on your very first time here you do reach the end of line at B tunnel, you'll notice that you're in a big passage. Eventually B tunnel wraps back around and connects with A tunnel. You could jump from the end of line at B tunnel, connect to A tunnel, and go to the right. This would be kind of like a jump right, go right, because the line is like angled back this way. Honestly though, for me, if you make it to the end of B tunnel, I would probably just turn because you're probably very close to turn pressure already. Once the dive is over, you and your team can just exit. What I would do personally is I would remove the markers from my primary reel and I would leave the reel in place, and I would do my second dive also at B tunnel today. For dive 2 at Mayan Blue, you have a lot of options. If you want to see what some of those options are, click the link in the description and go read the whole summary of where you could go at Mayan Blue. For now, let's say that I'm going to give you directions to the Death Arrow Passage. So we've left the line in place. You drop a marker on dive 2 and you go in. Long jump down to the left. Jump however you jump. After you've connected in, you dive along this line for a while, then you'll reach the end of a line. At the end of the line, check time, depth, and gas, and if you can or want to, you can jump forward to the middle of the next line and go to the right. This is one of the prettier blue and deep decorated lines. It's really, really pretty. This is the Death Arrow Passage itself. Now, as you're connecting into the Death Arrow Passage and as you're going to the right, you're in around 24 to 26 meters of water, so you're a little deep, so be aware of your upcoming decompression obligations depending on how you've set your computer. On this line, you'll swim through some very nice big white decorated passage and eventually goes through a slightly smaller area, and then you reach the end of the line again. At this end of line, you're now facing next to A tunnel. This end of line, if you wanted to jump to A tunnel, would be a jump kind of to the left and then go right, because the lines are pointed kind of parallel to each other. So as you reach the end of the line, you look over to your left and you'll see a line. Now, granted, most of the time, most people, if you're new to the area, if you do reach the end of line, probably want to just turn around here. If by some miracle you have a ton of gas left over, sure, jump to A tunnel, go right, and swim on A tunnel till you reach turn. Most of the time, most people just should be turning here, either because they're close on gas or because they want to save a little bit of gas for some upcoming decompression. This is, for me, one of the more decorated lines in Mayan Blue. It's a very special place in my heart. Please be very careful, please stay close to the line, and please do not impact the environment. Guys, that wraps it up for Mayan Blue. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like it, and leave a comment down below. It helps the video quite a lot. Stay tuned for part 3, where we're going to explore another cave in the area and start building our experience. And until next time, guys, be safe and go do something cool.